Bend Elks take on the Yakima Valley Pippins in Game 3 of 3 here at the Orchard. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. I'm Aiden O'Neill. Thanks so much for joining us. If you missed us last night, I will say you missed a lot. What a game it was. 15-13 the final. Elks entered the ninth inning trailing by 4 runs. They came all the way back. They won and picked up their first road win of the 2026 season. But you put that one to bed, you savor it for the night, and now you got to come out and try to take your first series since the opening one against the Springfield Drifters and harness some momentum. On the bump tonight for the Yakima Valley Pippins is Bodie Ramsey, the 5'8", 175-pound lefty. He'll wind and work to Sisidko. The first pitch is a changeup that misses down and away for a ball. We get started a few minutes ahead of schedule at 6:31. Ramsey's been great so far this year for the Pips as Sisk calls time. Kyle Sisk was a name that everybody kind of got familiar with last night as the 1-0 misses up to Dimitri. Ejected Alan Cox, who is now serving a 1-game suspension tonight. Johnny Kemp considered the manager, just a 2-man coaching staff with him and Wes Harper as the 2-0 curveballs called the strike at the bottom of the zone. Sisidko, Nato, and Klosik to start off the top of the first. Elks in their gold uniforms, Bend Elks across the chest, gray pants. Yakima in green. 2-1 curveball folds in at the knees for a strike. Sisidko has been an incredible story coming from Saddleback College, committed to Coppin State, and currently second in the entire West Coast League in average, batting .457. Ramsey's 2-2. Changeup. Misses down and away. Good take by Sisidko. The rest of the lineup, it's Beck, Snakenborg, and Sanders after those top 3. Then Alfaro, Goodman, and Fudge to round out the starting 9. Payoff coming to Sisidko. Curveball chopped softly right in front of home plate. Ramsey fields glove side. Throw to first. Just got Sisidko by a step. And that's how this ball game gets started. It wasn't hit hard at all, and Sisidko gave himself a chance just because of how fast he is. Was not able to get there, though. Now Keaton Nato. Ramsey has been flat out brilliant in every like of the word. His first pitch to Nato is a fastball that misses down and away. A 1.54 ERA in 11 2/3, 12 Ks to just 5 walks. 1-0 to Nato. Fastball just a hair off the plate. Speaking of Keaton Nato, he's in the lineup and we get to see the bat first, but his glove shined brightly on Wednesday night. 2-0. Changeup crushed deep down the right field line. Hooking near the foul pole and just foul. Had the home run distance, but a long strike for Nato. So walk back to the batter's box. Was well out in front of a changeup that caught a lot of plate. Hit 326 feet down the left field line that has a wall standing at 293 feet. So would have been well gone. Still a hitter's count. The 2-1. Squares to bunt, pops up the bunt, beyond home plate to the left, and falls foul as Upton gives chase, but cannot get there. Speaking of Upton, the defense behind Bodie Ramsey tonight, it's Godoy, O'Neill, and Emery Henderson from left to right in the outfield. Fleck and Almeida on the left side, Velasquez and Sotomayor on the right side, with Upton doing the catching. 2-2. Curveball just off the plate. Kyle Sisk does not budge. And a gutsy take from Nato that pays off. Nato from Cal State San Bernardino. That diving catch in the ninth was Sports Center top 10 worthy as the 3-2 misses high, ball 4. So the breaking ball by Bodie misses up, and the Elks have their first base runner. Not only their first base runner, but Keaton Nato, who has stolen 5 bases on the season. But that catch, something we won't forget. Now Klosick, first pitch fastball lined right back up the middle and through for a base hit. Nato's going to stop at second. It's picked up by O'Neill. But Richie Klosick jumps on the first pitch he sees. Right back where it came from. Your umpires tonight, Kyle Sisk behind home plate, Henry DeJesus on the bases. Cam Beck now the batter, who pinch hit last night in a big spot. Was unable to come through. Ramsey comes home on the big looping curveball that misses high. Ramsey from Rockford, Wisconsin, a left-handed pitcher for Chandler Gilbert Community College. Takes pride in that command. The 1-0. Curveball called a strike at the base of the zone. Cam Beck still looking to get it going. The former #1 player in the state of Utah from South Jordan. And now at Oregon State. And you can tell by all the orange and black gear he's repping. 1-1, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Ramsey's pitch is fouled off of Upton, the catcher. Bounds beyond home plate. Appears he'll be all right wearing the old school protective mask that just covers the front. No wind tonight, but in this dry weather of Yakima, you expect the ball to fly. Peek back at 2 for Ramsey. Now the 1-2 is a changeup that misses low. Upton can't find it, but it was simply just sat down right near the right foot of Cam Beck. So nobody moves up. It's Nato on second, Klosick on first. Looking to avenge himself. Cam Beck is after last night. The punch out with the bases loaded late. 2-2. Fastball got him swinging on a foul tip into the glove. And there's 2 outs. The first K of the night for Bodie Ramsey. Now Nate Snakenborg. Just 2 games so far this season with Bend. 1 in non-league action. Ramsey fires. Curveball that misses up and away. Catcher from San Diego, California. Went to San Marcos High School. Attends the University of Nevada, Reno. Loads of potential. A lot of pop. The 1-0. Fastball. He was late. And swings through it. In the last appearance he had, it was on June the 14th against Corvallis, and picked up 2 hits and 2 runs batted in his 4 at-bats. The 1-1 with 2 outs. Curveball called a strike at the knees. Now Snakenborg has to protect. Troy Sanders on deck, then Eddie Alfaro. Ramsey looks into his catcher in Upton and fires. A fastball that's just off the plate. A good take by Snake. In yesterday's contest, the one that was so topsy-turvy, the Elks scored 2 runs in the opening frame, and it set the stage for a great offensive night. Looking for some similar success. The 2-2. Curveball misses down. Good take again. And Nate Snakenborg has worked it to a full count. 3-2, 2 outs, no score in the top of the first. Nato on second, Klosick on first. And Bodie Ramsey has to come into the powerful bat of Snakenborg. The pitch. Fastball called, strike 3 on the outside corner. And Snakenborg was frozen to end the inning. Back-to-back punch-outs for Bodie Ramsey, who has lived by way of the K so far this summer for Yakima. Rolls us on to the bottom of the first. Elks, unable to score, leave 2 runners on base. We'll go to that home half when we return on Bend Elks YouTube. Welcome back to Yakima, bottom of the first inning. Elks unable to score in the top half. And the Pippins, who have been top 5 offense in the West Coast League, are coming up after a night where they put up 13 but still lost. Tyson Miller at the top of the order per usual, then Nick Velasquez, Jay O'Neill, Levi Sotomayor, Trey Godoy, Malachi Emery-Henderson, Derek Almeida, Jackson Upton, and Cam Fleck. Keithan Viqueira, the Elk southpaw, looks into Miller and fires in the first pitch at 86, then misses low for a ball. Those Pippins unis, a forest green with the green caps and white pants. Some of my favorite combos for them. Elks looking fly 2 in the gold. 1-0. Fastball misses up. Keithan Viqueira, the lefty from Bakersfield, California. 4.5 ERA in 6 innings pitched. 3 earned runs. 2-0. Heater popped up foul. Out of play down the left field line off the signage. Viqueira at times this season has been wild, but has been able to dial it back in and really found something when he pitched in the non-league against the Rosebuds. 2-1 to Miller. Curveball crossed up Snakenborg. He couldn't catch it, but it's still called a strike at the bottom of the zone. It was a good enough pitch where Kyle Sisk still called it a strike, regardless of Snake not seeing it. Miller has been dominant at the top of this order. Viqueira rocks on the 2-2. Fastball scorched down the left field line by Coach Crustangel, and he will stay alive. Miller batting .347 in this leadoff spot. 17 hits this summer, and 6 stolen bases when he's reached. 2-2 again. Fastball runs away from the lefty and Miller. It appears that Yakima tonight maybe didn't get the scouting report that a lefty was on the mound. Their first 6 hitters in the lineup are all left-handed. Payoff. Outside, ball 4. A leadoff walk to Tyson Miller starts things off for Yakima. Bringing up Nick Velasquez, who had himself a heck of a night yesterday, was a triple away from the cycle and homered in the first inning, a 2-run blast. Viqueira fires. That one's hammered. Deep to right field again. Klosick giving chase. It's off the base of the wall. Miller flies around second. He'll be held at third. Stopping at second is Velasquez as the throw goes past the cutoff man to Goodman backing up. But a double puts 2 runners in scoring position with no outs. For Nick Velasquez, double number 4 of the summer. And it doesn't get easier for Keithan Vaquera now having to face Jay O'Neill, who had 2 home runs in 1 inning on Wednesday. Vaquera fires a curveball that misses outside. Yesterday in the Yakima 8-run second, O'Neill came to the plate twice and homered both times to the pull side on moonshots. Elks defense stays back, the 1-0. Fastball misses down and away. And Keithan Vaquera struggling with some command here early. Just had 1 start on the season. That came against the Rosebuds, and it was his last appearance. Boost of confidence, looking to harness that. 2-0 heater, misses away. And a 3-ball count to O'Neill. 250 average so far this summer, 10 hits. And those 2 big swings last night. Here's the 3-0. Grooved at the belt and called a strike. Getting Vaquera back into the count. Corners are creeping in Beck and Goodman. But Jay O'Neill, a serious threat. You have the open base, though. 3-1. Fastball misses outside, ball 4. And the bases are loaded with no outs. That was just off the black. A good pitch in the West Coast League, one you usually get, but Kyle Sisk does not oblige. 2 walks this inning for Keithan Vaquera. Bringing up Levi Sotomayor, who statistically in just 6 at-bats has the highest average on the team, batting .500. Tough spot for the young lefty early. He winds and fires. A curveball that's called a strike. No Levi Sotomayor last night, but was in the lineup on Tuesday and got on base in 3 of his 4 plate appearances. Vaquera's 0-1. Curveball misses outside. No runs batted in for Sotomayor, but finds himself in a prime spot to change that. Vaquera looking for a strikeout or a ground ball. They're loaded with no outs in the first. 1-1. Fastball misses down. No score, both teams with 1 hit apiece. To the University of Pacific Tiger from Reno, Nevada. Have to come in the hitter's count. 2-1. Fastball misses down and away. It's 3-1. And although Keithan Vaquera's command hasn't been there, Kyle Sisk is squeezing him, especially on that outer half. That was touching the black. 3-1. Fouled away into the parking lot down the left field line. And a great job by Vaquera. Now a big pitch coming up. Full count, no outs. They're loaded, no score. This Yakima crowd, a good crowd on a Thursday night, looking to get into it. Vaquera working out of the windup. Looks into Snakenborg. The pitch. In tight. It almost buzzed the tower of Sotomayor. It's ball 4. And he's walked in a run. Still no outs. One to nothing Pippins. And a mound visit for Wes Harper. 3 walks in the first inning for Keithan Vaquera. So the mound visit is over from Wes Harper. Gavin Durr, uncommitted lefty in the transfer portal, is getting loose, and Trey Godoy will hit, the UCLA Bruin. Godoy made his Yakima debut on Tuesday. Vaquera fires. Curveball that misses low. Good block by Snakenborg. Velasquez on third, O'Neill on second, Sotomayor on first. Vaquera, fifth batter he's faced, has still not recorded an out. 1-0 to Godoy. Misses low. Trey Godoy, a hat trick in his Pippin debut, but more than capable. Just wrapped up that freshman year at UCLA. 2-0, fastball well up and in tight, and Keithan Vaquera's command is all over the place. There's been moments like this for the left-hander, but he really has to reel it in. Winds and fires. Down the middle and called a strike. That one had a little extra oomph to it. 87. Just got to force the action to Godoy. 3-1. Fastball called a strike on the outside corner. And that's one that Kyle Sisk has called the ball all night up until that point. So a break for Vaquera. Now has to build off of it. 3-2, no outs. They're loaded. 1-0 Pippins. The payoff. Fastball popped up. Shallow right field. Coming in is Klosick. Going out is Fudge. Klosick's hat falls. He makes the catch. Bluffing the tag at third is Velasquez. The throw goes into the cutoff man and Beck. And everybody has to stay put. That is just as good as a strikeout for Keithan Vaquera. Great job getting back into the zone. Now it's Malachi Emery Henderson. With Klosick making that play, the defense for the Elks is Sidko, Nato, and Klosick in the outfield. Goodman and Sanders on the left side, Fudge and Beck on the right side, with Snakenborg doing the catching. Vaquera fires to Emery Henderson, and he fans on a curveball with his bright turquoise bat, pink handle, and those same accessories of the same color wave all over his body. Pink and turquoise galore. Still left on left. The 0-1. Curveball called a strike at the top of the zone. A late called strike by Kyle Sisk, and another gift. As Vaquera is starting to figure it out. Emery Henderson pinch hit late last night. Wasn't able to pick up a knock. 0-2. Fastball popped up on the infield. Left side of it. Goodman moving over into foul territory. Now moving back near the bag and makes the catch. 2 gone. That one was playing tricks on him in this blue sky scattered with some minor clouds. And not a lot of wind. I think it just had to do with the ball flight that made the sure-handed Goodman more unsure than normal. So Derek Almeida will hit. They're loaded still. 2 gone. Vaquera's pitch. Fastball spiked but blocked by Snakenborg on the inner third. And a good job keeping that ball in front of him. The runners still the same. Velasquez, O'Neill, and Sotomayor. The bases were loaded with no outs. Vaquera's picked up 2 straight. Looking to continue the wizardry. 1-0. Misses in the same spot. And the same pick by Snakenborg. A hitter's count for Almeida. 290 on the summer. 5 runs batted in. For the Pippins starting shortstop. Vaquera's got to fire it in. The 2-0 fastball just outside. And now another big pitch coming. The inconsistencies in command from Keithan Vaquera. Frustrating the young lefty. 3-0. Change up. Call the strike. Looked like that was the fastball again, rather. Came over. Almeida was 0 for 5 last night. 3-1. Hit well. Deep down the left field line. Hooking foul into the parking lot. Almeida was just out in front of it. Hit it 309 feet. Three-two, 2 outs. Crowd getting into it with some cowbell. Every runner will be on the move with the bases loaded in a 1-0 game. Vaquera pauses, a big deep breath, dropping the shoulders. The 3-2, fastball popped up, shallow left field. Sanders going out, Cahill coming in. It's Sisidko making the catch, and that will end the inning. Dimitri Sisidko squeezes it, and Keithan Vaquera limits the damage. It looked helpless. The bases were loaded with nobody out, already 1 run in, and Keithan Vaquera gets 3 consecutive unproductive outs to keep the deficit at 1-0 as we move to the second here on the Bend Elks YouTube page. One to nothing Yakima. Moving on to the top of the second. Troy Sanders digging in. He'll take a curveball for a strike. Aiden O'Neill up here in the broadcast booth. Your voice of the Bend Elks. Thanks for joining us. Another warm one here in Yakima. At least we're not here in July. Last year, it was just brutal. 0-1. Called the strike at the bottom of the zone. 86 degrees here at first pitch. Just some scattered clouds mixed in with the blue sky, but last year it was mid-90s to low hundreds here in Yakima. 0-2 changeup, misses down. So we're happy to be here at this time of the year. Great hospitality. Great organization. First year with the new ownership. And have loved with how this whole team is trended. 1-2. Fastball. Popped up. Shallow center field. Going out is Velasquez, the second baseman. He makes the catch. His ball started to fall away a bit, but still made it look easy. Ton of pop flies so far for both teams. Getting under the baseball, and now Eddie Alfaro will hit. Bodie Ramsey rocks and fires. Called a strike at the bottom of the zone at 84. Ramsey's not going to overpower you with velocity, but man, he can carve when it comes to finding the corners of the location. As the 0-1 is skied to medium center field. O'Neill's going back to his left, reaches up and makes the catch for the second out in the second frame. Quick 2 outs in the second in this 1-0 Pippin lead. Bringing up Will Goodman, who made as good of a defensive play as you will see last night at shortstop. Ramsey fires. Fastball that misses away. Late in the game, there was a ball dribbled back up the middle, and Goodman fielded it on his glove side. As the 1-0 is fired in on a curveball, check swing, he went around. Fielded on his glove side, he twirled an acrobatic pirouette and made a brilliant throw without having any miscue. As the 1-1 curveball is called a strike at the bottom of the zone. It would have been easy to bobble it, slow down his momentum. One fluid act on the spin and throw. 1-2. Fastball misses away, and that's what we've seen out of Will Goodman. The defensive brilliance, and the bat, too, has found a lot of barrels. It feels like it's coming around. 2-2 with 2 outs. Curveball popped up. Shallow center field again. O'Neill coming in. He'll call everybody off and make the catch. A 1-2-3 second inning for Bodie Ramsey here at the Orchard. We go to the bottom of the second here on the Bend Elks YouTube page. It's the Pippins 1 and the Elks nothing. Home half of the second inning here in Yakima. Game 3 of 3 before the Elks head back home for a week-long homestand. Keithan DeCara works to Jackson Upton, the 8-hole bat, who will swing and miss at a first pitch fastball. Upton, Fleck, and then the top of the order. Keithan DeCara last inning did so good at limiting the damage. Now that deficit's still only sitting at 1-0 as the 0-1 is also fanned on. Vaquera quickly ahead. Oh, 2 to Upton. Runs well away at 87. An easy take there. Vaquera facing Upton straight on, but then takes a slight step to his left and winds. Changeup misses down and in tight. First we've seen this series of Jackson Upton. Coach Crustangel maybe getting some new faces in the lineup and has had to do some maneuvering with one of his best hitters being on the shelf. 2-2. Down and in, taken by Upton. 0-2 to 3-2 for Keithan Vaquera. A pitching coach's nightmare. Looking to harness it, though. Just getting back in the zone. The payoff. Got him swinging. That'll make Wes Harper feel good. A punch out. Was up 0-2. Upton works it back to full. And then Vaquera puts him away for his first K of the night. Cam Fleck will hit. 1 out, nobody on base. 1-0 Pippins here in the bottom of the second. These last 3 batters have been the only righties we've seen in the whole lineup. Becerra's pitch. Called a strike. Changeup at the top of the zone. Cam Fleck, just $136 in 22 at-bats. 0-1. Fastball misses up and away. The 1-1 with one out. Misses up and away on a ball. Cam Fleck from Peoria, Arizona. Went to Liberty High School out there. The 2-1. Chopped foul. Another member of Chandler Gilbert Community College, just like Bodie Ramsey. And had a really good last season with the Coyotes. Becerra calls time before the 2-2. We'll step off and reset the pitch clock timer. Now he fires. A fastball that's popped up. Just out in front of home plate. Snakenborg calling everybody off. Does a pop-up dance and makes the catch. 2 gone. Had to stick with it for a bit, and when you're thinking about who should have called that ball, it was probably wise that Snakenborg was the one that took over. Did trail out closer to the mound than you'd usually see for a catcher calling it. But a nice play. So the Elks get to face the leadoff man, Tyson Miller, with nobody on base. Becerra comes home on a curveball that misses down and away. All week long, these Yakima crowds have been great. But I'm looking forward to seeing the attendance tonight because this one feels extra large, especially above the Yakima dugout. 1-0. Fastball flared to shallow right field. Klosik ranging over to his left and makes the catch. The hat comes off again for good measure, but Richie Klosik covering some ground. Both pitchers, a 1-2-3 second inning. We roll on to the third. 1-0 Pippins. Back here, top of the third inning here in Yakima. 1-0 Pippins as Ramsey comes home to Fudge on a curveball that misses low. Fudge and then the top of the order. Sisidko and Nato do up. Fudge in this reverse leadoff role, one of the more talented dudes on this team as he grounds the 1-0 softly to the left side. Moving to his left is Fleck. He fields and throws to first and just gets the speedy left-handed bat and Fudge for the first out. One thing about Bodie Ramsey is he's going to pound that zone. And the Elks have struggled with that style of pitcher so far this season. Now Dmitry Sisidko, who grounded out to the pitcher his first at-bat. Ramsey comes home. Sisitko drops down a bunt up the third baseline. Coming in is Fleck. His throw to first, not in time. A beautiful drag bunt from Dmitry Sisitko. And caught Cam Fleck at third napping. That's a great way to increase the average if you're Sisitko, who's already near the top of the league. Perfect. And the Elks have struggled with bunting so far this season, all in all. So an encouraging sight to see Sisitko make it look easy. Here's Keaton Nato. Throw to first is Sisitko's going on the first move, and they got him at second. Dmitry Sisitko was going on first move with the lefty and Ramsey. His throw into Sotomayor at first. Sisitko just kept running to second. Sotomayor delivered a strike to the covering Almeida, dropped down the tag. And now that bunt completely negated. First pitch curveball to Nato's called a strike. That's a frustrating one for a trusty base runner in Sisitko. Ramsey was all over it. 0-1. Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. It's 0-2. Keaton Nato walked in his first AB. 0-2. Curveball. Blooped to shallow center field. Coming in, O'Neal. He can't get there. And it's a 2-out single at 76 off the bat for Keaton Nato. That makes the caught stealing hurt even more for the Elks, because if it wasn't for that, you got yourself a rally now. Richie Klosik, the 2-out hitter, jumped on the first pitch he saw last time. The first pitch here misses up and away. Speedy Nato on first with 2 outs. He's got 5 stolen bases on the year. Wouldn't be surprised if he takes off. Ramsey's 1-0. Curveball chopped to the third baseman on a candy hop and Fleck. His throw to first in time. And that will end the inning. Elks leave a runner on base. Still that offense quiet. 1-0 Yakima to the bottom of the third on Bend Elks YouTube. Bottom of the third inning. here in Yakima. Pippins on top, 1-0 on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Nick Velasquez, the batter, is first pitch from Vaquera is a curveball that misses low. The heart of this Yakima order that was so good against the Elks last night. 2, 3, and 4. 1-0. Curveball, check swing, appeal down to the umpire, and Henry DeJesus said he did not go. And interestingly enough, Nick Velasquez being the lefty, Snakenborg appealed down to third, just assuming you'd have a third base umpire in that case, but the West Coast League, only a two-man crew. The 2-0. Misses down, a 3-ball count for Vaquera. Man, that appeal is practically impossible to see if you're Henry DeJesus down the first base line, but man, from our vantage point in the press box, it looked like he definitely went. 3-0. Right down Broadway. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. Nick Velasquez doubled in his first at-bat, continuing the red-hot series that he's had against the Elks. Fastball up and in tight, almost took off the head of Velasquez to the backstop. Third walk for Keithan Vaquera. And anything up and in tight, anything that could spark controversy is something to watch tonight after how last night's events unfolded. There was a lot of chirping back and forth, a 15-13 game. The first time the Elks really showed that different mentality that we've been waiting to see. As Vaquera comes in, curveball, misses up. And I mean the entire dugout being on the fence. All it took was an Alan Cox ejection to light that fire. Bay O'Neill's 1-0. He swings and misses at it at the top of the zone. If you're listening, Alan, thanks for joining us. Alan was joking with me on the bus that he'll be tuned in. So if you are, we're happy to have you. I know it's a lot different than watching the game, but I'm doing my best to paint the picture for you. There's the 1-1 misses low. Elks team has had so much success under Allen, back-to-back years making the playoffs. And although it's been an up and down season so far, you're just looking for hope. 2-1. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. O'Neill was way out in front. Maybe last night was all it took. Maybe a 6-run ninth. A game you were once down 10-2 was the turning point. Vaquera comes set. His payoff to O'Neill. Got him swinging on a curveball. O'Neill way out in front, and Keithan Vaquera picks up his second K in a huge spot. And although it was just with the runner on first and nobody out, what that does for a pitcher in Keithan Vaquera that's already had some question marks when it comes to the command tonight is a lot. That extra boost of confidence. Here's Levi Sotomayor, another lefty. Vaquera comes in. Running on the pitch is Velasquez. Swung on a miss. Throw down to second. Not in time. Nick Velasquez moves into scoring position. His second stolen base of the summer. Got a good jump. 0-1 it is to Sotomayor. Long look in for Vaquera. Elks down 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. The pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. 1 out, runner on second. Still early, but tonight's been much closer to a pitcher's duel a night after 28 runs were scored. Vaquera comes set on the third base side. The 0-2. Curveball misses away. Good take by Sotomayor. He was up in the first with the bases loaded, and he walked in an inning where it looked like it might be slipping away from Keithan Vaquera. Wes Harper had to get another reliever up. 1-2 fastballs fouled straight back. Sotomayor stays alive, but Keithan Vaquera in a spot where he previously folded against Walla Walla a couple of weeks ago. This time was different. Maybe that experience paying off for the Southpaw. That's how we stand at 1-0. Vaquera, 2 looks at 2. Now the 1-2. Got him swinging on a curveball. Climb the ladder. And sometimes the effective high breaker, even if it's unintentional, does the trick. Back-to-back Ks for Vaquera. And there's 2 outs in the third. Trey Godoy will hit. Velasquez on second. Vaquera, first pitch curveball, misses outside. Trey Godoy flew out to shallow right field in his first at-bat. Just his second game as a Yakima Valley Pippin. 1-0. Fastball, misses outside. We had that big scoring performance last night, of course, but would you believe me if I told you that that was not even the biggest night in the West Coast League? 2-0. Misses high. There was a game last night that broke all kinds of records. The Marion Berries beat the Walla Walla Sweets in Walla Walla 23-19. The most combined runs in a game in the history of the West Coast League. Vaquera's 3-0, and it's up and in tight. Buzzes the tower, gets off the glove of Snakenborg. It's a walk to Godoy, and it also allows for Velasquez to move up to third. So these walks are hurting Keithan Vaquera, his 4th. There's runners on the corners with 2 outs. And not only was the combined runs record broken for a single night, the Berries scoring 23 runs in a game, that's the most a single team has scored in a WCL game ever. Now Malachi Emery Henderson, who takes outside. It's a delayed steal. Throw down to second. Snap down to first to try to get the runner. They do. Yakima tried to put on a first and third base running masterpiece, and it didn't work. Stealing on the pitch was Trey Godoy. The throw from Snakenborg went to Sanders, who cut it off just in front of second base. And then Velasquez took off for home. And it was an easy throw and catch from Sanders to Snakenborg. The Yakima Valley Pippins shoot themselves in the foot to end the third inning. And the Elks will take it to the 4th. Still 1-0 Pippins on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Top of the 4th inning, Elks trail 1-0 to the Yakima Valley Pippins here in Game 3 of the series. Bodie Ramsey comes home to Cam Beck and misses outside. Beck, Snakenborg, and Sanders due up this Elks offense, who has been stagnant, looking to break through. 1-0 curveball, hit well, deep to left field. Going back on it is the left fielder and Godoy, and it goes over his head. Beck's going to hit first and head to second. He'll stop there. It's a lead-off double for the powerful righty here in the fourth. The Elks have been lacking in the extra base hit department, and Beck just put a charge into a ball, 98 off the bat. Godoy was playing him in, and it turns out to be a costly decision for the Yakima left fielder. Bringing up Nate Snakenborg. Ramsey's pitch, fastball, popped up, foul, and out of play. These Bend Elks have been looking for some thunder in the bats in a year where it felt like everybody has been slumping so far. Snakenborg punched out looking his first time. 0-1 changeup, misses away. In the extra base hit department, if you believe it, that is only number 19 on the season. And the Elks are in dead last by a handful in the entire WCL. 1-1. Fastball fouled away. Coming after a year where they were towards the top, and Makoa Sniffen was an all-star. You had the likes of Bryce Clavon, Augie Lopez, who were extra base hitting machines. So the Elks are looking for that identity to slowly come back, and there's dudes that can do it. 1-2. Curveball, grounded up the third base line and just foul. Fleck gave it a look, but it was foul by a foot, and Kyle Sisk, the home plate umpire, was the one that made the call. Was at 87 off the bat, rolled by Snakenborg. 1-2, no outs. Back on second. 1-0 Pippins here in the top of the fourth. Elks could tie with a base hit. Ramsey comes home. Change up, check, swing, and foul just beyond home plate. Snakenborg stays alive. Powerful catcher from the University of Nevada, Reno. Peek back at 2 in the 1-2. Fastball misses up and away. On deck is Troy Sanders, and then it's Eddie Alfaro. In these spots, Bodie Ramsey's done a great job of pounding the zone. See if he comes in. Here it is. Curveball up and away, full count. He's only walked one other batter in his 3 innings plus of work now into the fourth. That was Keita Nato, the second batter of the game. These 3-ball counts have been an unfamiliarity. Payoff, outside, ball 4. Walk number 2 of the night for Bodie Ramsey. Puts runners on first and second with nobody out for the Elks. And in this spot, Troy Sanders digging in. With the Elks' lack of offense so far, you almost expect a bunt. We'll see if it's on. Sanders squares around. First pitch, misses up. Sanders pulls back and takes. That's a big part of bunting that gets overlooked. It's not about just getting it down, but having the wherewithal, if it's not a strike, to take. 1-0, squares around again. Curveball, pulls back and takes low. 2-0. Sanders been in the lineup all 3 nights here in Walla Walla. Staple of the West Coast League. His time is now called. In the middle of the count, Yakima's pitching coach is going to go and have a chat with the starter in Bodie Ramsey. Ramsey hasn't been in these spots often. The last outing he had was against the Ridgefield Raptors on the road. And he was brilliant. 5 straight no-hit innings against arguably the best offense in the West Coast League. 7 innings pitched, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and 91 pitches. And although tonight has been relatively smooth sailing so far for Ramsey, the Elks have 0 runs, but they do have 4 hits. So the knocks have been there. It's now just about executing with runners on base. They depart. Now the 2-0. Sanders squares around. He gets the bunt down just in front of home plate. Coming out is Upton, is only placed to first. Just got him. And Johnny Kemp wants time because the covering Velasquez on the wheel play, the second baseman, may have pulled his foot on the throw by Upton off the bag. And Henry DeJesus and Kyle Sisk will now come together as it stands. A successful sac bunt. Runners on second and third. And they're going to keep it as an out. So a sacrifice bunt, 2-4 on the putout with that wheel play. And a good job by Troy Sanders. From our vantage point in the press box, it looked like that might have hit off his foot. But it may have just been the plate. And then it slightly bounced in front. Eddie Alfaro gets to hit with runners on second and third. And the first pitch home will miss and tighten. Pop dirt out of the glove of Upton, looking like smoke going into the eyes of Alfaro. Corners creeping in, middle infielders playing back. The 1-0, fastball fouled away. Eddie Alfaro from Cal State San Bernardino has been nursing a hamstring issue, so he's in the lineup tonight as a DH. Elks are hoping that bat can come to life. 1-1. Fastball misses up by a hair. And a good take by Alfaro. His first at bat, he flew out to the center fielder O'Neill. If he did that again, it would tie this game. 1-0 Pippins here in the top of the fourth in this spot. 2-1. Curveball, skied to deep right center field. Emery Henderson's giving chase. Deep in the alley, makes the catch. Beck tags at third. He will score. So does Snakenborg, moving up to third. And it's 1-1. Crust Angel threw over to second after Snakenborg tagged from second to third and checked if Snakenborg left early, which was the heart of the controversy with Will Cahill yesterday that got Alan Cox ejected. And you could hear a ironic cheer almost from the Bend Elks dugout when Henry DeJesus called him safe. Here's Will Goodman. Fastball home, misses low. A good, productive at-bat from Eddie Alfaro. Goodman also flew out his first time. 1-0. Misses outside. He gets away from the catcher and Upton. Here comes Snakenborg. Now he's caught up in between third and home. He scampers back before the throw from Upton goes to Fleck in time. And he's fortunately safe. That could have been disastrous. You like the aggression if you're Snakenborg, and him and Johnny Kemp can share a laugh, but if he were to get thrown out at home, would have been tough. 2-0, 2 outs, runner on third. The pitch misses high. This entire frame started with the leadoff double by Cam Beck, who just came in to score. Now tied 1-1 in the top of the fourth. 3-0 count to Goodman. The pitch does not get turned loose or have the green light. Takes a fastball on the inner third. A lot of nagging injuries with this Elks group. It's good to see Goodman play back-to-back days with the back issue. 3-1, fastball swung on and missed. Full count. Isaiah Fudge on deck. The one thing about Ramsey is after the walk, he's gotten back in the strike zone. Payoff. Crushed. Deep down the left field line, trailing over is Godoy. Near that line, it's just foul by maybe a foot. And if it did land fair, it would have been an RBI extra base hit for Goodman. But he now has to walk on back to home plate. It did look foul off the crack of the bat, but we're talking by a couple of feet. Just 79 off the bat at Goodman, but the way it was hooking, Godoy had no chance if it fell fair. Ramsey comes set. We'll do the 3-2 again. Fastball, grounded softly. Back up the middle. Tough play for anybody, and no one can corral it. It goes into shallow center field, and the Elks have a 2-1 lead in the fourth. Will Goodman puts bat to baseball and executes. Make that Goodman's 5th run batted in of the summer. Getting to Bodie Ramsey, who was unscathed in his last outing. Isaiah Fudge now. Goodman takes off on the first pitch. It's called a strike, and Goodman steals it without a throw. It popped out of the glove of Upton. Goodman was there standing, though, and it was simply a defensive lapse from the Pippins, forgetting that there was a base runner on. 0-1 to Isaiah Fudge. The pitch. Fastball misses in. Isaiah Fudge grounded out in his first AB to the third baseman Fleck. 1-1. Curveball flared into shallow center field. Racing in is the center fielder, and O'Neill. He dives, and it goes by him. Coming in to score is Goodman. Fudge has a stand-up double, and it's 3-1 Elks. A risky play with 2 gone, but one that was a valiant attempt by O'Neill. He just couldn't get there. Dove to his left, but Isaiah Fudge has an RBI double, and the Elks a 3 spot here in the fourth. Now Dmitry Sisidko will take a fastball down and in. Gets away from Upton. Moving up to third is Fudge. And this inning continues to go the Elks' way. For the uber-talented Isaiah Fudge, that's his first double of the summer. And his 2nd run batted in. Now Sisidko, the 1-0. Fastball, grounded softly. High chopper, though. Tough play for the shortstop in Almeida. He fields it, but with how the hop went, he wasn't able to make the play. Fudge scores. It's 4-1. This field has played tricks on some of these defenders, and Almeida had no chance. It was a high chopper from Sisidko. It hit off the lip of the grass, and it shot from right to left so far where when he got it on the high backhander, he had no throw. Dmitry Sisidko is the biggest fan of the baseball gods because he continuously gets rewarded. Another 2-hit night. His 6th run batted in. And it looks like Coach Crustangel is now going to go take a slow walk with Henry DeJesus out to center field to check on Jay O'Neill, maybe after that diving attempt. Now the entire outfield, along with Crustangel and Henry DeJesus are meeting in straightaway center. 4-1 the score, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Sasidko just picked up an RBI on a ball that was tapped 64 miles per hour off the bat. If you're an Elks fan for another year running, Jack Lafitte, fan favorite, goes to the University of Michigan. Had similar luck. He would put a ball in play, he would bloop a single to right, flare one to left, and they'd all fall in. Time is still called as Crust Angel departs, and now Upton wants a word with his pitcher in Bodie Ramsey. Looks like a pitcher now getting loose for the Yakima Valley Pippins, and time is called again by Coach Crust Angel. And he's going to go get the reliever. If that was an entire effort to give the new pitcher in Torin Agee some extra time to warm up, then Crust Angel did a great job, because time was called in center to check on O'Neill. Then they departed. Then Upton went out to talk to his pitcher in Ramsey. Then they departed. And then Crust Angel went back out and pulled him. 3 times where time was called. Now we have a pitching change. Bodie Ramsey has been one of the better stories for the Yakima Valley Pippins, and the Elks finally cracked the code to putting some runs up against him. He only had given up 2 earned coming into tonight and has given up 4. 2 gone in this frame. 4-1 Elks on the Bend Elks YouTube page. We'll step aside with the pitching change and be back after this. New pitcher into the ballgame for the Yakima Valley Pippins. It's the righty wearing number 99, standing at 6'6", Torin Agee. And he works in an 8-0. First pitch home is a fastball that's called a strike. Agee went an inning in last night's game in relief of Jake Cumming, was the first guy out of the bullpen. Gave up no runs, 1 walk, no Ks. Sasidko off of first. He goes, the 0-1. Flared into shallow center, down for a base hit. Sasidko's going all the way to third. And there's runners on the corners. What an inning for these Elks. A hit parade. And that time, even if it wasn't intentional, a hit and run executed. Now 7 hits in total for the Elks on the night. And their 5th hit of the frame. Keaton Nato is 2 for 2. Here's Richie Klosik. Aggie fires. Fastball that's called a strike. Torrin Aggie from Whitman College, also the home of the Walla Walla Sweets in the summertime at Borleski Stadium. We were already there earlier this year. 3 innings pitched entering tonight, is not allowed a run. In a tough spot, though, the 0-1, Nato goes, fastball, throw down to second, gets away from the second baseman Velasquez. Coming in to score is Sisidko, and another defensive miscue for Yakima makes it 5-1. These first and third situations for the Yakima Valley Pippins, they are shooting themselves in the foot. And an error on the catcher and Upton on a loose throw. Plates another. Nato on second, the 1-1, he takes off for third. Called a ball, throw down there, not in time on one hop. And Nato steals third. So back-to-back stolen bases for Keaton Nato. Number 6 and 7 on the summer. Had the error from Upton that brought in Sisidko. And this inning has turned into a true crooked number. Klosik, 1 for 2 tonight. Aggie's 2-1. Fastball popped up on the infield to the left side. Fleck and Almeida coming together. It's the third baseman and Fleck making the catch. And that will end the inning. But the Elks send 9 batters to the plate. Put up 5 runs. On 5 hits. Ultra resilient. All started with that Cam Beck leadoff double. Keith and Vaquera's night is done. Gavin Durr, the uncommitted, tall, lanky southpaw, enters the game when we return. Elks feeling good. 5-1 to the bottom of the 4th on Bend Elks YouTube. Bottom of the 4th inning, Elks score 5 in the top half and a new pitcher into the game in Gavin Durr. His first pitch home is swung on and missed by the batter in Malachi Emery Henderson. Emery Henderson, Almeida, and Upton, 6, 7, and 8 against the tall left-handed pitcher. 0-1, curveball, flared, shallow right field, but right at Richie Klosik, and he reaches up to make the catch. One gone in this fourth at Bend Elks offense. Breaking through these last two games. So good to see because the talent is there, as we always say. But those offensive stats have been grim. Last night, 15 runs, a 5 spot in the fourth. Maybe a change as the first pitch home to Almeida is chopped to the third baseman and Goodman. He fields it there, throws to first, 2 outs. Gavin Durr pounding the strike zone early. And it's working out. 2 gone for Jackson Upton. Durr, the 6'1", 200-pound lefty from Bend, Oregon, a hometown kid. Was at Washington State a year ago, but now in the transfer portal. Pitch to Fleck. Fastball misses up. Went to Mountain View High School. And that pure stuff he features is filthy. 1-0. Heater misses up. Upton punched out his first time through. Made that costly error last inning, looking to avenge himself. 2-0. This is up and away. Durr entering this outing so far this summer has been good. Just 4 1/3, but a 2.08 ERA. 1.62 whip. 3-0. Fastball down the heart of the plate. Called a strike. Only thing that has been against Durr has been the base on balls. 6 walks to 6 strikeouts. 3-1. Fastball swung on and missed. A hearty hack from Upton, but he's late. Ethan Vaquera had a great night that was full of being an escape artist. The 3-2 got him swinging, and Gavin Durr is backing him up with brilliance. A 1-2-3 fourth inning. Punches out Upton. Upton's second time striking out. This Elks pitching staff, just 1 hit allowed, doing their job. To the 5th. On Bend Elks YouTube, it's 5-1 Elks. Top of the 5th inning, Elks on top 5-1. We'll take a look around the West Coast League as Cam Beck steps into the box against the righty still going in Torrin Agee. Beck his last time doubled. Agee's pitch. Fastball misses down and away. Bellingham on top of Port Angeles, 11-0 in the top of the 4th. Walla Walla up on Marion after that marathon last night where they lost 23-19. They're up 5-1, bottom 4. 1-0 to Beck. Fouled away just beyond home plate. The Portland Gherkins are beating the Springfield Drifters 6-0 in the top of the 5th. That's a team that beat the Bend Elks. So Maybe the Gherkins looking to make some noise. Corvallis on top in the 9 mode, 2-0 top 6. Victoria beating Redmond 14-7, the 1-1. Curveball, foul back. That's now gone final. Edmonton on top of Wenatchee, 4-0 top 5. And Portland on top of Ridgefield, 4-0, looking to take the series. 1-2. Misses low. Ridgefield Raptors have been one of the best stories of the West Coast League this season. Leading the South right now with a 12-5 record, 8-2 in their last 10. 2-2. Misses down and away, and it's been led by a brilliant offensive approach. They slug and hit extra base hits with the best of them. Going to a series finale with Portland. That series has been good. Beck's worked it to 3-2. The pitch in tight, goes over the head of Beck. And a walk. A good night for Cam, who leads off the inning for the second consecutive one and also gets on base again. Stepping up, Nate Snakenborg to start that 4th inning where the Elks had 5 hits, 5 runs. Beck starts off this frame again as they throw over to check on him. It kicks off of his shin to keep it in front of Sotomayor on a wayward throw by Agee. That got away from Sotomayor and got down the right field line. Beck would have at least moved up 90 feet. Snakenborg, punch out and a walk. The pitch. Down and away, it gets away from Upton. And there is that 90 feet. Beck moves up to second on a pitch that Upton had no chance of stopping. A loose, wild pitch. Snakenborg loads a pop in that bat. Waggling it from the right side, the all-beige barrel. 1-0. Curveball misses up and in. Redshirted in 2024, and then his last 2 years have been at Nevada. 2-0 up and in, buzzes the tower of Snakenborg, goes over his head. Beck moves up to third. And another wild pitch where Snakenborg may take exception. I mentioned it earlier, but anything up and in after the tension of last night's game is immediately going to raise an eyebrow. And we all know that Torren Agee now, this is just a lack of command and looking to find it, but it's how the game of baseball goes, that ultra-competitive nature. If it's up and in, it never feels good, no matter the intent. So 3-0, another run 90 feet away. The pitch. Fastball, called a strike on the outside corner. Just 11 appearances in Snakenborg's sophomore year. As the 3-1 misses low and he walks to first. Runners on the corners with no outs. As time is now called by Coach Crustangel, and I think he's seen enough of Torren Agee. A tough night entered in relief of Bodie Ramsey. Free pass plagued him these last 2 batters. 2 walks. And Yakima pitchers have walked the Elks 4 times tonight. Troy Sanders will be the hitter against the new pitcher when we come back in this 5-1 Elks lead, top of the 5th inning on Bend Elks YouTube. New pitcher into the ball game for the Yakima Valley Pippins. 5-1 Elks. Runners on the corners. Beck on third, Snakenborg on first. Troy Sanders in the box. The new pitcher, Nathaniel Carano. His first pitch misses down and away. These first and third situations for Yakima defensively have been absent from them. See how they manage it here. The 6'3", 230-pound righty on the bump. 1-0. Heaters called a strike. From Honolulu, Hawaii. And a Whitworth Pirate. 8 innings so far with Yakima. 6.75 ERA. 12 Ks to 4 walks. 1-1. Fastball chopped foul. Near that Elks dugout, and Coach Crust Angel gets a hand on it. Troy Sanders is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. And that bunt that he had in the fourth was a main reason why the Elks ended up pushing across 5. 1-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3. Kyle Sisk didn't know how many strikes there were. He did the normal strike symbol. But it's a K nonetheless. 1 gone. For Eddie Alfaro. In a getaway day like the Elks have tonight, you can never have too many runs. First pitch to Eddie, misses in tight, good take. Carano with Whitworth, a D3 here in the Pacific Northwest. 65 innings pitched this last year, a 4.85 ERA in those spots. 1-0. Curveball, grounded, softly to the third baseman and Fleck, goes to second for 1, throw to first, double play. And with Eddie Alfaro's nursed hamstring injury, he can't run too hard out of the box. So it ended up being a pretty routine 5-4-3 double play. He was barely halfway down the line when Sotomayor made the catch at first. Missed opportunity for the Elks. Runners were on the corners with no outs, and they cannot score. Still 5-1 Bend to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, 5-1 Elks here on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Aiden O'Neill up here in the broadcast booth. Thanks for joining us. Cam Fleck, 9-1-2 this frame. Will start it off, and he takes a fastball down and in. Fleck, Miller, then Velasquez. Still the reliever, and Gavin Durr. 1-0. Fastball called a strike on the outside corner. Elks last frame had runners on first and third with nobody outs and weren't able to score, and despite them having 5 runs already, feel like you wanted to capitalize there. 1-1. Fastball grounded softly, back up the middle, ranging over Sanders, but he can't get there. And it trickles into shallow center field for a leadoff single. Losing the leadoff guy in any capacity means that now you got to face the top of this order with runners on base. Tyson Miller will hit left on left with Durr. Walked his first time, flew out his last. Durr's pitch. Curveball misses down and away. Good block by Snakenborg. Tyson Miller from Cal State Bakersfield. Had a great season in just 23 at-bats where he hit .348 as a true freshman. 1-0. Miss is low, blocked by Snakenborg. Bullpen for the Bend Elks is quiet. This is Gavin Durr's time to shine. Comes set on the 2-0. Misses down and away. Ball 4 or ball 3. Jumping ahead. You hope you don't see ball 4 in this case. Durr has nowhere to put him. Fires. Fastball. Called a strike. Miller from Long Beach, California, and for Coach Crustangel has been at the top of this order consistently for all the different tools he brings. 3-1. Outside, ball 4. The second time that Tyson Miller has walked. And Gavin Durr is in some trouble with some foot traffic here in the 5th. Time is now called between Nate Snakenborg and Will Goodman also accompanying them on the mound. A lot of this chat definitely also has to do with the possibility of a bunt being put on. Knowing what to do in that wheel play situation with Goodman staying home at third more than likely. But it gets funky with the lefty falling off the mound on Goodman's side. Be shocked if you see Velasquez bunt, though, with how good he's been at the dish. Durr comes home, does not square, and takes a curveball for a strike. It would be doing the Elks a favor if, at this point, Nick Velasquez were to bunt. Last night had 3 hits. Already has a double and a walk tonight. 0-1 fastball misses down and away. Stopped by Snakenborg, but kicks far enough away where both runners are able to move up. Fleck to third, Miller to second. And there's 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. So they don't even have to bunt to give Velasquez a chance to hit with a couple of ducks on the pond. Durr goes back into the windup. 1-1. Fastball swung on and missed. 1-2. He tied him up and in tight. Nick Velasquez, the team leader in runs batted in with 16. Ideal guy that Coach Crustangel wants up in this spot. Durr's 1-2. Fastball fouled right back. Open base at first, but another tough customer on deck in Jay O'Neill. Runners on second and third, no outs. 5-1 Elks in the bottom of the fifth. But the Pippins threatening. Durr looks in and gets the sign with a nod. Comes home. Curveball, lined, back up the middle and down for a base hit. Coming in to score is Fleck. Getting stopped at third is Miller. The throw goes to the cutoff man in Beck. It's 5-2. That's Nick Velasquez's 17th run batted in. Here's Jay O'Neill now representing the tying run. Durr comes home. O'Neill jumps on the first pitch. Line to right. It one hops Klosik and goes all the way by him to the wall. Coming in to score is Miller. Getting the wave around third is Velasquez. Rumbling into third with a 2 RBI double is Jay O'Neill. And it's 5-4. Now Levi Sotomayor. First pitch fastball, jumps on it, past the glove of the diving Beck, into right field for a base hit. And we're all tied at 5. So just like that, I mean, my goodness. It was 5-1. It's 5-5. Here's Trey Godoy. Durr's pitch is a fastball that's called the strike. Levi Sotomayor served a ball into shallow right field. Klosik came in, couldn't handle it. 0-1. Fastball swung on and missed to Godoy. So I believe what they'll rule this. I got to figure it out. It's going to take a moment. 0-2. Fastball popped up foul and out of play. Sotomayor obviously picks up the run batted in. He was the last hitter. And I called it in the moment a 2 RBI triple for Jay O'Neill, but what's more likely is a 1 RBI single with an error on Klosik as the 0-2's popped up foul and out of play. I believe that's what they're going to rule it. Godoy's 0 for 1. Durr's 0-2. Fastball misses away. Still nobody warming up for the Elks in the bullpen, and this inning for Gavin Durr has gone from bad to worse with 4 hits allowed. Looking for that first out. 1-2 curveball. Just away. Elks wanted it, but it was off the plate. 8 hits for the Elks to 5 for the Pippins, resembling a similar game to last night now. 2-2. Fastball, check swing, went around, got him swinging. So Gavin Durr picks up the punch out for the first out of the frame, and Trey Godoy's series struggles continue. Here's Malachi Emery Henderson. Durr's pitch misses down and away. Durr's been filling up the zone with that 88-mile-per-hour fastball, but this Yakima offense that has been really good all year has jumped on it. 1-0. Curveball. Misses up. Emery Henderson is 0 for 2. Each team trading their own crooked number. 5 runs for the Elks in the 4th. Now a 4 spot for the Pippins in the 5th. 2-0. Swung on and missed. Emery Henderson was late. Noble Ortega has a glove, and he's watching the game from near the mound in the bullpen, but he's not throwing. 2-1. Fastball, high chopper, to Sanders at short. He flips to second for the covering 1, and the throw to first is not in time. It was an awkward play where Fudge had to field it behind the base. He flipped it to the covering Fudge. They get the important force out. 2 outs, runner on first. An important out to give Gavin Durr a boost of confidence. Bringing up Derek Almeida. Durr comes home. Fastball is grounded, foul. It all started with a single by Cam Fleck, then a walk to Tyson Miller. RBI single by Nick Velasquez. Another RBI single by Jay O'Neill with a costly error by Richie Klosik, who might have lost it in the sun, and then it snowballed. 0-1, misses low, runner on the move, throw down to second. A perfect strike from Nate Snakenborg, and that will end the inning. Cuts down Malachi Emery Henderson. All right, Yakima, they get 4 of their own. We're tied. He already had the marathon last night. You ready for part 2? Maybe. 6th inning when we come back on the Bend Elks YouTube page. All knotted up. Will Goodman, the hitter, to start the top of the 6th inning. We are now tied. The pitch. Fastball fouled away. Elks had 5 runs of their own in the 4th. Yakima answers with a 4 spot in the 5th. And in a series that has been full of back and forths, we're here again. Still going is Carano, the righty. 0-1. Curveball, Goodman well out in front. It's 0-2. Goodman, Fudge, and then the top of the order. Here it is. Got him swinging. Goodman couldn't adjust to the curveball. And Nathaniel Carano has a strikeout. Bringing up Isaiah Fudge. Fudge 1 for 2 with a double that came in the 4th inning. Carano's pitch. Runs in tight almost. Hits Nathaniel Fudge. Catches a piece of Upton, who's a bit shaken up, but pops up all right. Flared one to shallow center field. O'Neill was racing in. He dove, made a risky attempt, and it went by him. 1-0. Grounded softly to the second baseman, who catches it on the high hop in Velasquez. His throw to first just gets the speedy Fudge. Two gone, and the batter, Dmitry Sasidko. A hit machine. 2 so far tonight. Just finds a way. Carano comes home. Curveball folds in for a strike. And a year after Jace Miller won the batting title for the Bend Elks, they've got maybe another contender. I mean, it's been an interesting year when it comes to the differences between the two, as the 0-1 is called a strike on the outside corner. Carano's filling it up. Sasidko, more of the dink and dunk, will steal you a base type of player, where Jace Miller offers all that power. The 0-2 with 2 outs. Miss is down and away. Good take by Sasidko. But no matter how you get it done, the beauty of baseball is it all is the same. That batting average doesn't change based on how hard you hit it or where you hit it. If you get a knock, it counts. 1-2. Fastball flared foul just above the Bend Elks dugout off the netting, and we'll do it again. Elks last year against the Yakima Valley Pippins were 5-1. And in games here at the Orchard, took 2 out of 3. This time around, though, in a much desperate need for a series win. 1-2. Fouled away. Sasidko stays alive. Took the Elks quite some time last year to get over the hump when it came to winning games on the road. This year has been no different and more dramatized in 2026. The pitch. Carano goes to the curveball. Sasidko chops it foul, and it's handled by a member of the Pippins dugout. Elks were 10-18 away from home. Sasidko now calls time, and last night was their first road win of the 2026 season, 1-7 away from Vince Scanna Stadium this year. Carano's 1-2. Spikes in there for a ball. It bounced probably 6 feet in front of home plate. Kicked high to the backstop. Great at-bat from Dmitry Sasidko, regardless of the outcome, getting the pitch count up of Nathaniel Carano, who's been on cruise control. 2-2, 2 outs, nobody on base. Fastball, skied to straightaway right field. Emery Henderson comes in and makes the catch to end the inning. The Elks go down in order in the 6th. 5-5 the score on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Bottom of the 6th inning, Gavin Durr still in this game facing Derek Almeida and fires home a fastball that's grounded to Sanders at short. He'll field and throw to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. A lot of confidence in both Wes Harper and Johnny Kemp and Gavin Durr. And in hindsight, despite him allowing that 4 spot in the 5th inning, if it wasn't for Richie Klosik letting that ball bound over his left shoulder and roll to the wall, Elks probably still have the lead. It was a tough play, though, for Richie, blinded by the lights. Now it's Jackson Upton who offers it the first pitch. Grounds to Will Goodman. Throw to first on 1 hops, dugout. 2 pitches, 2 outs. And that was actually a pinch hitter for the Yakima Valley Pippins, I believe, Obvel Ramos. So Ramos will likely stay in the game and catch. Cam Fleck bats with 2 outs and nobody on base. Was forced to take that first pitch, so it wasn't a 3-pitch inning, but Durr gets right back in the zone, making it 1-1. 5-5, nobody on base in the bottom of the 6th. Durr throws a fastball that's grounded to Goodman at third. His throw to first is high. The stretch by Beck. They got him. A 5-pitch inning for Gavin Durr. And then an outing that's been up and down. That's a big boost. We go to the 7th. Still tied at 5 on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Do not go anywhere. It's Bend Elks baseball every night, right here. Top of the 7th, and the part of the order the Elks want up. Digging in against Nathaniel Carano. Carano's first pitch is grounded past the dive of Fleck at third and into left field for a leadoff single. Keaton Nadeau having himself a game. 3 hits tonight, and the Elks have the leadoff runner on in the 7th. Not only does that boost the average of Nadeau, but it puts the Elks in a good spot with speed on the base paths, looking to take the lead. Here's Richie Klosik. Carano comes home, and Klosik fouls it right back. Richie Klosik made that error in the 5th inning that's probably still lingering on his mind. He's been waiting for this at-bat to make up for it. Throw over to first to check on Nadeau, who's back with a dive. Has already stolen 2 stolen bases tonight. And Aiden Tallarico, who's usually in the lineup, giving Nadeau a round of applause, saying he's doing a good job getting back. 0-1. Nadeau bluffs the steal. Curveball called a strike at the bottom. That one looped in at 71 miles per hour. Klosik is 1 for 3. Man from Houston, Texas, goes to LMU. Carano throws over. Nadeau was leaning and just got back. An awkward fall of grace. Looked like he got his feet tangled up underneath him. Elks are fortunate he didn't get picked off. Dancing off of first, the 0-2. Curveball, got him swinging. Klosik out in front. 1 gone in the 7th. Now bringing up Cam Beck. Double and a walk his last 2 times as the first pitch fastball is called a strike. Have to consider sending Keaton Nadeau with all his speed, even though they're keeping close tabs on him, to give the middle of this order a chance to hit with the runner in scoring position. 0-1. Curveball misses up. Cam Beck is soft-spoken as they come, but it has felt like he finally broke through tonight, was inserted into a pressure spot yesterday, pinch hitting for Jackson Murphy. Punched out with the bases loaded. 1-1 with 1 out. The hard ball misses down and away. But the pure talent from Beck is evident. Nadeau with the slight lead off of first, sun beaming in his face. The 2-1 curveball is popped up foul and out of play. And the fan just made a nice catch. Getting a round of applause from the Yakima faithful. One of my favorite things in baseball, when the whole crowd acknowledges when someone makes a play. 2-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Carano throws over. Nadeau's back with the dive. Noble Ortega now starting to toss in the Bend Elks bullpen. Flag limp in right center field on this picturesque Thursday night. Big lead off of first from Nadeau. The 2-2 is fouled right back. Cam Beck stays alive. On deck is Nate Snakenborg. Then Troy Sanders if we get there. Beck with endless power from the right side. Tall, calming stance. Carano delivers. A fastball that's outside, 3-2. Now with 3-2 and 1 out. See if Nato is on the move. Carano comes set. His payoff. Nato does not go. Fastball called. Strike 3. And it was right down the heart of the plate. Cam Beck thought it was ball 4. But it was right there. 2 outs. Elks last night were plagued by the looking strike 3. Just their third of the night, but comes in a big spot. Now Nate Snakenborg takes outside on a curveball. Couple of walks and a strikeout tonight for Snake. The pants all brown and dirt after he slid his last time through. 1-0, skied foul deep down the right field line and out of play. Some arms starting to stretch for Yakima in their bullpen. 5-5 the score. The Elks out hitting the Pippins though. 9 hits to 5. And then the 1 error for the Elks to none for the Pippins. 1-1. Fouled right back by Snakenborg. He timed the heater well. Just missed it. Crowd picking up as Carano looks in and gets the sign from Ramos. 1-2. Curveball in tight. They were walking off the mound, but it was well in. That would have been a gift from home plate umpire Kyle Sisk if he would have rewarded the 12-6 curveball. Still fighting this Snakenborg. 2-2. Curveball lined deep down the left field line, hooking foul and into the parking lot. We'll do it again. This one was well foul, 84 off the bat. But if Snakenborg sees another one of those curveballs and he times it better, that one will be hit a long way. Seeking his shining moment is Snakenborg. 2-2. Got him swinging. Carano went to the heater on the inner third. Snakenborg was late. We'll stretch in Yakima. Still tied at 5 on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Top of the order up for the Yakima Valley Pippins here in the 7th inning. All tied up at 5 on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Thanks for joining us. Series finale, Noble Ortega into the game to face Tyson Miller. And the first pitch, check swing, misses down and outside. Noble Ortega has been a workhorse in every sense of the word, whether it's on the mound or at the plate for these Elks. 1-0 fastball, grounded softly to the shortstop, and Sanders fields it on the tough hop. Blazing down first is Miller, and Sanders just got him by maybe a quarter of a step. These infielders have to think an extra second with some of the hops you get here at Yakima County Stadium. But Sanders stuck with it and got Miller a big first out. Nick Velasquez, the batter. Curveball misses down and away. In 10 2/3 innings pitched, Noble Ortega, 5.91 ERA, 11 Ks to 8 walks, and he last worked the opening night of this series. 1-0. Fastball called a strike. Ortega in that outing was the last pitcher to throw for the Elks when an inning and 2/3, 2 runs allowed, 1 K and 2 walks, but dealt with some misfortune. 1-1, blows the doors off. Velasquez was well late on a heater up. That one registering at 87. Now 1-2. Velasquez, a 2-hit night. RBI single his last time. He is tormented Bend. Ortega delivers. Fastball just outside. Sisk does not oblige, and that one on the outer third was as close as it's gotten. Sisk is taking a long look into the Bend Elks dugout, shaking his head. But the Elks rightfully frustrated. 2-2. Curveball called, strike 3 on the outside corner. And Sisk is still looking into the Elks dugout. My goodness. 2 gone. It was the same pitch as far as the outer third is concerned. One was called a ball, and the second one was called a strike. So I'm sure, if I were to guess, what was said by Wes Harper, Johnny Kemp, a player, was same pitch. And Sisk took a long death stare into the first base dugout. Fastball to Jay O'Neill is called a strike. Ortega doing a nice job pounding the zone to start his outing out of the pen. O'Neill had the RBI single his last time with the error. A 1 curveball misses. Noble Ortega's signature turquoise glove as he looks down the lefty Ortega straight on. Both feet pointing directly towards him on the mound. And will wind and come home. 1-1 curveball misses low. Both bullpens are quiet in this nail-biter on a Thursday night. 5-5 the score, bottom 7, 2 outs, and nobody on base. 2-1 fastball misses low. Levi Sotomayor on deck, and then Trey Godoy. Lefty row for these Pippins, who haven't used any bench bats. 3-1. Fastball misses. No. Wow, a late called strike from Kyle Sisk on a pitch that was off the plate. But it's been one that we've seen called a strike. Has been inconsistent on that outside corner. This time going the Elks' way. And they will take it. A big difference between a 2-out walk. And now the payoff, looking to capitalize. Ortega's curveball misses away. And that one right there again. About a ball and a half off the plate from Kyle Sisk has been inconsistent. This time goes Yakima's way, and Noble Ortega. 2-out walk. Ortega fires. Fastball that's called a strike. Jay O'Neill known for his power, so not a ton of speed on first. Ortega's 0-1. Misses down and away. He does, though, have 4 stolen bases on the summer, and being a center fielder, can run. 1-1. Fastball bounded foul off the hand of the first base coach that they call Pinch down there. They've got these fun nicknames. You got Krusty, who's the head coach. Then the associate head coach, first base coach, is Pinch. Pitching coach they call Salsa. 1-2 with 2 outs. Ortega looks into O'Neill. The pitch. Curveball misses down and away. O'Neill reached on the 2-out walk. Levi Sotomayor. Couple of runs batted in tonight. Big spot here. Ortega comes in. Fastball check, swing, appeal. He didn't go and it hit him. A hit by pitch with 2 outs after the walk. And 2 free passes have put a Yakima runner in scoring position. Trey Godoy steps in. Another lefty. And Ortega delivers. Fastball that's called a strike at the top of the zone. Can't get discouraged from trusting your stuff if you're Ortega in this spot. Has walked a pair, but seeking to remain the confidence. 0-1. Down and away. Slight overshift to the pull side for Isaiah Fudge, playing in shallow right field with the lefty bat Godoy. Ortega's 1-1. Fastball line into shallow right. Coming in as Klosik. It's down for a base hit. Getting the wave around third is Jay O'Neill. The throw's in on 2 hops. In time! Richie Klosik, a hose from right. Cuts down Jay O'Neill, and the game stays tied in the 7th. And I'll tell you what, Jay O'Neill was safe, and I think safe by a good chunk. From our vantage point up here in the press box, I simply think Kyle Sisk missed that call. It looked like Jay O'Neill's hand was in there well in time, but you best believe these Elks will take it. Richie Klosik, who showed off the arm in Walla Walla and Marion, does it again in another road series here in Yakima. A 2-hop strike. Snakenborg had to go to the backhand near the first base line, but caught it, tagged, and it ends the inning. No runs scored for the Pippins. The 9-2 put out ends the frame. We'll keep you here as Nathaniel Carano was out of the dugout, ready to throw as soon as that inning ended. For those that are watching the live stream too would love to know what that was. Out or safe from your angle. Now Troy Sanders. First pitch home. Sanders squares to bunt. Gets it down up the third base line. Racing in his Fleck. His throw to first. Just got Sanders. And falling down his Fleck as he almost came to a collision with Kyle Sisk. A good idea for Troy Sanders. It wasn't a bad bunt by any stretch of the imagination, but an even better play by Cam Fleck. As the Elks will go to the bench. In for Eddie Alfaro is Marcus Galvin with 1 out in the 8th inning. Still facing the righty and Nathaniel Carano. Defense playing Galvin straight up, but he's been a trusty guy off the bench. Carano's pitch is a curveball that misses low. Galvin, so trusty defensively, but the bat has also been one of the more solid ones on the team. 1-0. Fastball swung on and missed. And late last night, Marcus Galvin came up in a pinch hit spot for Isaac Pfeiffer, a part of the 6-run 9th inning. He had the baseball gods reward him on an RBI single. The 1-1. Curveball flared to the third baseman in Fleck, who caught it on the fly near the shoe tops. There's 2 outs. With 2 gone, Will Goodman will hit from the right side. Carano comes in. Curveball, check swing. Did he go? He did, according to base umpire Henry DeJesus. Goodman down 0-1. Mo Goodman so far tonight, an RBI single. He's 1 for 3. The pitch, big swing and a miss on a curveball. Thanks for the help in the chat. For those that said he was out, I love to hear it. Carano peeks in and comes set. 0-2. Fastball, grounded up the first base line and just foul. I don't know if it was. That looked like it went over the base. But Henry DeJesus had a foul. A big difference. Just a few inches made there. Oh, man. Instead of being an extra base hit, it's a strike. 0-2 with 2 outs to Goodman. Curveball got him swinging. And Nathaniel Carano continues to dominate. Aside from the 5-run 4th inning, the Elks haven't scored. To the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-5 on Bend Elks YouTube. Bottom of the 8th inning, Noble Ortega still pitching for the Elks. His first pitch to Malachi Emery Henderson misses outside. Emery Henderson, Almeida, and Upton. 6, 7, and 8 this frame. 1-0. Called a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. It really has just been one inning for both teams that has gotten us to this 5-5 score. 1-1 curveball, check swing. Did he go? Appeal down. He did not. Henry DeJesus says. Alex Figueroa has a baseball, but he's not warming up. He's likely the plan after Ortega. 2-1, fanned on and missed. It's 2-2. Picturesque sunset setting in the back of these Yakima Valley Mountains on a perfect Thursday. Emery Henderson's 0 for 3. The 2-2 got him swinging. Noble Ortega goes back to that breaking ball, and it works. 74 miles per hour of perfection. 1 out. And the hitter is Derek Almeida. Ortega comes in. Almeida ropes one down the left field line. It's fair. Cut off by Sisidko before it gets to the corner. It forces Almeida to put on the brakes at first. And a huge play by Dimitri Sisidko. Obvel Ramos swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. They didn't pick up the exit velocity on Derek Almeida's single down the line. But it was hit really hard, and Sisidko, the super utility guy in left tonight, big time play. Ramos, his second at bat. 0-1, chops it foul just beyond home plate. Bottom of the 8th inning. No balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, in a 5-5 score, with the runner on first in Derek Almeida. Obvel Ramos grounded out his first time through to Will Goodman. Here it is. Got him swinging. Down and away. Obvel Ramos chases the 80-mile-per-hour changeup. And both outs this inning thus far. Via the K for Ortega. There's 2 gone. Noble Ortega is a competitor with the best of them. Now Cam Fleck. Ortega comes in. First pitch is popped up. Shallow center field. Going out is Sanders. Circling underneath it, he makes the catch. And after the 1-out single for Derek Almeida, Noble Ortega fires in a 0. We go to the 9th, an inning that the Elks were so fond of on Wednesday. Look to replicate some success in a game all knotted up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in just a few on Bend Elks YouTube for the finishing touches of this series. The ninth inning upon us here at the Orchard. Carano looks into Fudge. First pitch curveball misses down. Fudge, Sisidco, Nadeau, 9-1-2 in this game that's all tied at 5. 1-0. Fudge takes down and away for a ball. Last night's game, the Bend Elks entered the ninth inning down by 4, 13-9. They proceeded to win 15-13 after a 6 spot. In this ninth inning, just 24 hours later, what can they do? 2-0, swung on and missed. Fudge chased high in the zone at 91. Night 1, the Pippins took 5-2 on the final score. So just as all good series go, the final game, neck and neck. Fudge is 1 for 3 with the double. Carano's 2-1. Fastball called a strike at the bottom of the zone at 90. Count even at 2. Nobody actively tossing for the Elks, but it looks like Josh Johnson is starting to stretch. Carano delivers. Fastball misses away. Full count to Fudge. You get Fudge on base and turn it to the top of the order. The Elks can play for 1 run. Velasquez shifted to the right with the lefty up. Carano comes set. His pitch. Fastball. Foul down the left field line and off the banners just above the Yakima dugout. We'll do it again. Fudge, a Division II All-American at Quincy, now committed to Tampa, where he hit over 400 this last season, has entered a turning point of his Elks year. The pitch. Fastball misses away, ball 4. A lead-off walk to Isaiah Fudge, and the Elks have the go-ahead runner on base. The fans here are chirping home plate umpire Kyle Sisk, but that was well off the plate. It's one we've seen called, though, so you understand the frustration. Dmitry Sisidco now at the top of the order. He bunted for a single earlier, and in this spot, with the go-ahead runner on first, could be another chance to bunt. Carano comes set. Sisidco squares, pulls back, takes a ball. Obvel Ramos fakes the snap back to first. Fudge is there standing. On deck is Keaton Nadeau, who's had a scorching hot night, so a bunt here would make the Elks feel good. Carano's 1-0. Dimitri squares to bunt, gets it down up the first base line, and it kicks foul. Fudge will have to go back to first. Sisidco back to the box. It's 1-1. That was an effort for a push bunt where it really would have been a foot race if it were fair between Ramos and Sisidco. Another 2-hit night for Dimitri, who's consistently been a staple at the top of the order with constant production. Carano comes set. Moving up in the box now is Sisidco. Carano will throw to first. Back with a dive is Fudge. Those pickoffs in that situation, a lot of the time to see if Sisidco is still squaring. And he was, so the Pippins learned something there. Squares again, the 1-1. Curveball, pulls back, called a ball at the top of the zone. Appeal to Henry DeJesus. He did not go. A hitter's count. Isaiah Fudge out there at first. 1 stolen base this summer, but does have some speed. A hitter's count to Sisidco. You think the bunt will probably still be on. Tie game in the 9th. Nobody gone. Carano's pitch. Sisidco squares, pulls back, takes a ball. 3-1. And sometimes, for whatever reason, when a guy squares to bunt, it becomes harder to throw strikes. Squaring the 3-1. Fastball gets it down up the first base line. Fielded in foul territory by Sotomayor. And it's 3-2. It was bunted firm from Dmitry Sasidko up the first base line. And now in a full count, almost certainly taking the bunt off for Sasidko. Has only punched out one time all year, so in a 2-strike count, there's really no one else you trust more. Fudge average lead off of first. Carano's payoff. Fastball chopped foul up the third base line, and we'll do it again. A long at bat to Dmitry Sasidko, who continues to battle. Carano starting to labor, coming set from the first base side. It's 3-2 once more. Fouled right back. This battle, Sasidko, Carano, biggest spot of the game, and neither man folded. Still Fudge at first, still representing the go-ahead run. Coming set is Carano. He delivers. Fastball. Popped up. Sky high. Left field. I'm not sure if Godoy can see it. Neither can O'Neill. It falls. Fudge is going from second to third. The throw goes there. Fudge is tagged out. Moving up to second is Dmitry Sasidko. But Godoy and O'Neill in the dusk. A story we've seen so many times in the West Coast League, can't see the ball. Fudge was aggressive trying to go to third. And a great throw by the center fielder O'Neill, who picked it up, fired a one-hop strike to Fleck. And nabbed Isaiah Fudge. Great base running from Sasidko, moving up to second, so you'll take that. The go-ahead run is in scoring position regardless for Keaton Nadeau. 3 hits tonight for the Elks center fielder. They'll throw back to second to check on Sasidko, who's back standing. That's going to go down as a single and then a rare 8-5 putout to get the runner. Time is now called by pitching coach Ethan Solscheider. Entire infield is up. Runner on second, 1 out. Top 9, 5-5 the score. The Elks have 10 hits. The Pippins only have 7. Isaiah Fudge was aggressive, trying to go from first to third on a ball that was lost in the dusk. It got thrown out by Jay O'Neill. Mound visit is done. Nadeau steps in against Carano. The pitch. Breaking ball, misses low, kicks away. Sasidko moves up to third, and the Elks have the go-ahead run 90 feet away. A costly 90 feet as Nathaniel Carano spiked a 73-mile-per-hour curveball. The infield is forced to come in. A ball in the outfield for Keaton Nadeau would give the Elks the lead in the ninth. Carano's 1-0. Fastball swung on and missed. He'll surely be pitching for a punch-out or a weak ground ball to one of the infielders drawn in. Fleck, Almeida, Velasquez, or Sotomayor. Nato's reached in all 4 plate appearances, 3 hits and a walk. The 1-1. Slider misses outside. It gets through the legs of Ramos. Coming in to score, Sisitko. The Elks have a 6-5 lead in the 9th. Back-to-back wild pitches. Gets Sisitko from second to home. It just went through the 5-hole of Obvel Ramos. It's 6-5. 2-1 to Nato is fouled off the mask of Obvel Ramos, and Kyle Sisk will give him a moment. In a game last night where the Yakima Valley Pippins had 8 errors, shot themselves in the foot in a 15-13 loss, more miscues come back to haunt them. And with a runner on third and less than 2 outs as a pitcher, you're trusting your catcher to stop everything. And Ramos cannot. Two-two. Curveball popped up foul and out of play. Dmitry Sisitko did all of that himself. Think about it. I know it was a pop-up that's going to go down as a single that was lost in the dusk. But then he moved up to second on that play as the 2-2 fastball is called. Strike 3 at the bottom of the zone. 2 outs. Then he got to third on a wild pitch and then scored on a similar scenario. Two gone for Richie Klosik. 6-5 Elks in this back and forth war. First pitch, curveball, Klosik out in front. It's 0-1. One for 4 tonight. In the 9th inning, the Pippins will have the top of the order due up. And it looks like it'll likely be Alex Figueroa pitching the 9th. 0-1 misses away the Elks' crafty sidewinder that had a great night on Wednesday. Carano's 1-1. Fastball foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. It's 1-2. Good crowd still sticking around, migrating to just above the Yakima Valley dugout. Nathaniel Carano has been a workhorse for Coach Crustangel. 1-2 curveball misses down and away. You want an insurance run if it's possible. Would feel so much more comfortable going into the bottom of the 9th up 2 instead of 1. 2-2 fastball runs up and in, and it hits Richie Klosik on the hand. Klosik goes down with both hands on his knees, and he'll walk down to first after it hit the wrist. You hope that he's okay. The Elks will take the base runner as the trainer will check him out. The rebound after it hit his hand went far up the first baseline, off the facing of the dugout. And it looks like now we might get a pinch runner for Richie Klosik. Eli Pupo is going to come in for Klosik to get more speed on the bases. A good call at this stage of the game for Johnny Kemp and Wes Harper. Pupo, one of the best base runners on this Elks team. Can swipe a bag at convenience and also just quite intelligent. Has 5 stolen bases on the summer. That's second on the team, just behind Keaton Nato. Cam Beck, the hitter. Throw over to check on the newly entered Pupo. He's back safely with a dive. You don't want to take the bat out of Beck's red-hot righty bat, but stealing and getting there would be critical. Carano comes home on a fastball that misses low. Snap throw down to first. Pupo's back with a dive. Hopeville Ramos thought he might have got him, but good job by Pupo getting back. 6-5, top 9, 2 gone, 1-0 the count, and Pupo off of first. Elks with the slim lead. 1-0 fastball, grounded softly to the left of the second baseman in Velasquez. It goes under his glove into shallow right. Pupo moves up to second. We'll see if this is a hit or an error, but regardless, the inning rolls on. And time is now called for Kyle Crustangel. He's going to the bullpen. A soft hit single does the trick for Cam Beck. His second hit of the night. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. Elks up by 1, but looking for more. Here in the 9th when we return against the new arm on Bend Elks YouTube. Francisco Lopez, a new pitcher for the Yakima Valley Pippins. He's been one of their best relievers. Enters in a spot with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Elks up 6-5. Face Nate Snakenborg. Lopez's pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Snakenborg out in front. 3 1/3 innings pitched for Lopez. 5 Ks, no walks. Just 1 hit allowed and no runs. Has been dominant. Rocking the bright green headband, and time is called. Lopez gets some clarification for Ramos, just making sure they're on the same page. Now we're ready. 0-1. Fastball line down the left field line and just foul. Another one by a hair. And if it was fair, it would have been an extra base hit that likely would have brought in multiple runs. That ball was smoked. 97 off the bat down the line by Nate Snakenborg. That was all over the cement mixing breaking ball. His time is now called between Johnny Kemp and base umpire Henry DeJesus. Not sure what the chatter is about. Looks like we're all good, though. Johnny Kemp had his hands on his helmet for a bit, acting surprised about something, but we're still going. No harm done. 0-2. Breaking ball. Misses low, and a good block by Obvel Ramos. On Tuesday night in this series, Francisco Lopez came in out of the bullpen in relief of Austin Dillon, went an inning and a third, 2 Ks, no walks. He looks into Ramos. The 1-2 with 2 outs. Curveball misses low. A great take from Snakenborg, who's working hard down in the count. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks for him tonight, and battling. Looking to bring in that insurance run. It's Pupo on second, Beck on first. Here's Lopez's pitch. Got him swinging on a half-hearted attempt. Check swing, down and away, an 84-mile-per-hour breaking ball to end the frame. 1 run for the Elks is going to have to be enough. 6-5 the score. Bottom 9 when we return. And coming into the ball game, is Alex Figueroa, the Elks crafty righty, seeking to shut the door and get the Elks the series win. On just a night after 9th inning drama, there's more. There's an encore, and the Elks lead 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Top of the order coming up for the Yakima Valley Pippins, starting with Tyson Miller. And in out of the bullpen is the right-hander, Alex Figueroa, as crafty as they come out of Tucson, Arizona. Just 2 innings with the Elks, 4 Ks, no walks, no runs. His first pitch to Miller, dips down and fires in a pitch that misses down and in tight. He's a sidewinder, remnants of Ryan Thompson, Adam Simber. Pros that are effective with that funky delivery. The 1-0, fastball, slashed foul down the left field line into the parking lot. Miller, Velasquez, O'Neill, the teeth of the Yakima Valley Pippins. Miller has walked twice tonight. He's 0 for 2. Figs 1-1. Misses down. Was a Walla Walla Swede a year ago. Used in big spots in the WCL. But it's hard to find one bigger than this. Looking for a save in just a 1-run game. 2-1. Fastball misses high. 3-1. Not only does Miller represent the leadoff batter, but possesses a lot of speed. Figueroa's got to come in. Here it is. Fastball called to strike on the outside corner. 3-2 to the first batter of this bottom of the ninth in a 6-5 Elks lead. The pitch. Fastball fouled away above the Pippins dugout. Tyson Miller stays alive. In the starting spot all 3 days. Yesterday reached 3 times. On Tuesday reached twice. An on-base machine, but the Elks need to keep him off the paths. 3-2. Fastball fouled away, almost the same spot, just above the Elks dugout. And the at-bat continues. Long look in for Figueroa. Gets the sign from Snakenborg. His payoff. Fastball. Misses low. Ball 4. And it was as much of a strike as you're ever going to get. A whole ball in the zone. And Kyle Sisk doesn't oblige. In the biggest spot of the game, a tough break for Bend. Tyson Miller with speed, the tying run on first. A whole ball in the zone. It's tough to see with maybe the funky delivery, but Figueroa threw a strike, and they just didn't call it as one. Nick Velasquez, the hitter, representing the winning run. Has been the Elks' enemy in this 3-game series, but immediately squares to bunt. Figueroa's pitch. He gets the bunt down. Out in front to Figueroa. His throw to first in time. Moving up to second is Miller, and having to scamper to third is Troy Sanders. To make sure Miller doesn't move up. I'll be honest with you, I think that gives the Elks a huge break. Nick Velasquez has been a guy the Elks have been tough to get out. And to bunt there and take the bat out of his hands, yes, it moves the tying run into scoring position. But it makes the margin for error on Yakima's side a lot slimmer. 1-3 on the putout on the sac bunt. Now it's Jay O'Neill. Miller on second. Figueroa's pitch. Fastball chopped to the first baseman and back. It kicks off the base. Beck's got a flip to the cover, and Figueroa just gets him by half a step. I mean, barely. Miller moves up to third, but the Elks get a huge second out. Figueroa came over late to cover. There was a bit of a collision between him and Jay O'Neill, but they just got him by a hair. Jay O'Neill asking home plate umpire Kyle Sisk if there was maybe interference of some sort. The tying run for the Pippins is 90 feet away. The batter is Levi Sotomayor. But the Elks are 1 out away from a series win. Defense playing him straight up. Figueroa comes set. His pitch. In tight, it hit him. On the first pitch to Levi Sotomayor, it plunks him on the right elbow guard. But no harm, no foul. If you're the Elks and Alex Figueroa, just have to reset and recalculate. Now runners on the corners with 2 gone. Elks still up 6-5 here in the bottom of the ninth. And we're going to get a pinch runner for the Yakima Valley Pippins. Number 1, Levi Correa will come in for Levi Sotomayor. And the hitter will be Trey Godoy. If you thought last night was nervy, here we go again. On third is Miller. On first is the new runner in Correa. Figueroa comes set, fires home a fastball that's called a strike. It's 0-1. Godoy had a single his last time through. Slight overshift for Isaiah Fudge to the pull side. 0-1. Fastball misses down and in tight. Trey Godoy, the UCLA Bruin, was embroiled in big moments watching his teammates go to work in the regional and now gets a crack at one of his own in summer ball. On the night of June 18th, Figueroa looking to play spoiler. The 1-1. Fastball popped up beyond home plate, out of play. It's 1-2. And Alex Figueroa is one strike away. We'll take a long walk off the mound, grab some rosin, touch the cap, and lock in. It's Miller on third, Correa on first. 1-2 with 2 outs. Coming set is Figueroa. His pitch home, fastball, chopped foul up the third base line and caught by Coach Crustangel. We'll do it again. That was one where you held your breath. If it got by Will Goodman in fair territory, would have tied the game, and then you would have seen how much speed Levi Correa has. Figueroa comes set. The 1-2 with 2 outs. Fastball lined to Sanders at short, and he caught it. The Bend Elks win the series 6-5 the final. A ball that caught Troy Sanders. He moved slightly to his left, reached up and caught it. And Bend, in a nail-biter, comes through. Victory high fives on the mound. The Bend Elks' first series win since the opening series of the 2026 season, where they took down Springfield at home in a sweep. And with no Alan Cox tonight, serving a 1-game suspension after the ejection a night ago, this group was resilient. They were gritty again, and it came down to the end in a 5-5 nail-biter where one run pushed it across. The Yakima Valley Pippins played the Elks so tough. They took game 1 of this series, 5-2 the final. Yesterday was the offensive barrage, where the Elks had 15 runs to the Pippins 13. And tonight, a game that was about the pitchers, but the timely crooked number too, with the Elks having 5 in the 4th, the Pippins having 4 in the 5th. The difference, though, if you think about it, was a ball lost in the dusk. Because Dimitri Sisidko popped a ball up with a runner on first and nobody out to shallow left center field. Neither Godoy nor O'Neill could see it. It fell down. Fudge did get thrown out at third, but Sisidko moved up to second. And then on 2 consecutive wild pitches in the ninth that got by the newly entered Obvel Ramos that came in for Jackson Upton, Dimitri Sisidko was blazing on the paths. Came in to score, and Alex Figueroa, even though it wasn't the prettiest way to get yourself a save, he picked it up. And one of the filthiest relievers for the Elks is a guy they're now leaning on in big spots. Before we sign off, I want to go back to the 7th inning, because the reason the Elks won this game was because of Richie Klosik. You cannot overlook the throw that he made at the end of the 7th inning. Jay O'Neill racing around third on a single. If he scores, the Pippins are up 6-5. Maybe the 9th inning and Dmitry Sisidko's scoring never happens. Momentum is a real thing. But Klosik cut him down. A 2-hop strike, the arm and the accuracy that we saw a couple of weeks ago in Marion, coming back to the field here in Yakima. And Richie Klosik was ready. A 2-hop strike to the backhand of Nate Snakenborg. He fielded it. He tagged out O'Neill after the emphatic signal from Kyle Sisk. The Elks carried that momentum to victory. Man, it feels good to win a series. The Elks were 0-7 on the road entering this road trip, and they get a series win here in Yakima. Maybe all it took was that extra juice from your coach getting rung. A new baseball team on the horizon here in Bend. For one final time, I'm Aiden O'Neill signing off from Yakima. We are back at it tomorrow, a home game. Back at Geta, the first of 3 versus the Kelowna Falcons. But tonight, the Elks will soak this one in. 6-5 the final. Late heroics, 11 hits for the Elks to 7 for the Pippins. And the one error for the Elks, how poetic, it was Richie Klosik, who then came through with a defensive gem late. We'll see you tomorrow. Bend Elks.